Okay, we're back on my iPad, and I'm going to walk you through showing you how to use the Splashtop app to connect to your desktop and use it with your Promethean ActivInspire software. So first, we're going to look for our Splashtop app, which is going to be right down here. It's green, says Splashtop, so go ahead and just tap on that, and it's going to launch Splashtop. And you're going to use the email address that you used to set up Splashtop on your desktop and that password you used. Now, if for some reason when you type in your password and it doesn't work, or you get an error message, something to the fact that it couldn't log in or it couldn't connect to some servers, most likely you need to go to Safari on your iPad and authenticate through the Lightspeed network. Okay, that's most likely what's happening if you're getting any of those error messages. So once you're logged in, you see the computers that are available to you. In your building, you might start seeing everybody's computer, but again, everybody has their own password, so just find your computer. In this case, this is going to be the bottom one here, the LECC. So I'm going to tap on that, and it's going to connect to my computer that's on my desk. And there we go. The first thing that's going to pop up are some gesture hints. These are the little shortcuts that tell you how you can use your finger to replicate a mouse. So as you can see here, pretty self-explanatory. One tap works just like a left mouse click. If I tap and hold, works just like a right click. And if I tap with two fingers, this does what's called with toggle mode. It basically turns your iPad into a big mouse. And we'll get more into that at a later time, and your tech integration trainers will explain that more to you. Scrolling, just use both fingers. 3 fingers there for scrolling the screen. And there's some other things. Again, get with your integration specialist in your building, and they'll be more than glad to help you out with all these gestures. I'd go ahead and leave this checkbox for now. That way it kind of helps you remind you what these features are until you get comfortable with the program itself. So let's go ahead and hit continue. And there's my computer, or my laptop. So as you can see, I'm tapping and moving the mouse around just like I would a mouse. So in this case, I want to launch my ActivInspire. Since I don't have a shortcut, I'm going to launch the teacher applications. I'm going to look for ActivInspire, and there it is. And it's going to launch. Okay, now our ActivInspire has launched. Looks just like you would normally. Got an update. I'm going to cancel by tapping cancel. And again, by using my finger on the iPad, I'm able to manipulate the pen tool here. So, and I don't even have to look up at the screen. I'm just looking on my iPad, and I'm able to draw just like I was at the board. Okay, so as you're seeing some of the things I'm able to do. So let's select the selection tool there. You know what? Let's draw. Let's do an example here. Let's say I'm doing a lesson on shapes. So I'm going to maybe draw a square here, and then maybe I'll select a circle, and then maybe I'll select also a triangle. I go back to my selection tool, and I want to move and reposition these a little bit. Again, I'm doing all this from my iPad. So now I might want to hand this over to a student. I would ask them, Jerry, would you type the word square and put it by the actual square? So I would tap the text tool, and then down here in the very lower right hand corner, this little triangular shape with these 4 dots, this is how you activate the keyboard. So I would just tap in the lower right, and there's my keyboard. So I would now tell the student to type square. So S-Q-U-A-R-E. To hide the keyboard, I just tap this icon here. And I didn't get anything that time. That's because I didn't position it. So let's tap on the screen first, bring up the keyboard again, and now type in square. There we go. Hide the keyboard. Again, just tap right here in the lower right-hand corner. Now if I want to reposition it, just tap the selection tool, tap the word, and again, I can move this either next to the word, or I can have the student just put the word right in there. Okay, so I would hand this off to another student and say type triangle, please. All right. Selection tool, move the word to the correct position. There you go. That's a quick demonstration of what you can do with this. In fact, you can even hand this to a student and say, you know what, can you just write the word next to the shape? So let's see if I can do this. C-I-R-C-L-E. It's as simple as that. Again, go back to my selection tool. Anything that I was doing with the mouse previously or up at the board, I can now do with the iPad and Splashtop. For some of you who might think these icons are a little small, you can do pinch gestures. So if I want to make this screen bigger so it's easier to see, all I do is take my thumb and finger, place it on the iPad, and just spread them apart. Now what I've done is spread and zoomed in and out. Okay? Again, just using my thumb and index finger, or I can just use 2 index fingers and I can zoom in and out. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in there. And so let's see. So again, let's say if I were using the ActivInspires, or I'm sorry, the ActivEngage, the clickers, I can activate that. If I want to change pages, if I want to add something from the ActivInspire resources, I can do that. I can navigate. I can do all of this from the iPad without having to go back to my desktop for anything. Okay? So I just want to give you kind of just a brief overview, so as not to bore you to death on here as well. And I know the technology integration specialists will be working with you in your buildings to kind of help you with using Splashtop and unlocking its potential, and with any other issues as well. So that's pretty much it. Just a nice quick overview. Again, get with your technology integration folks in the buildings, and they're going to be more than glad to assist you in using Splashtop. Take care.